and thank you for the introduction. It's quite an honor speaking in the house of God. But today we're going to be speaking about business and about money. Because why? I like when you guys, you say your Sabbath days. Some people, they call themselves Mapostori, so they don't go to work on Friday. And some of the people, they even call them Muslims. But when it comes to mine, I've never seen someone who put a sticker saying I need 70 days only. Is there anyone who's like that? Mine has got no color, and mine doesn't know any religion. But anyway, my name is Jerry Monya Zungu, aka the Chartered Vendor. And why I'm called the Chartered Vendor is just a small story which I got from my book called The Chartered Vendor. So the Chartered, what it means, if you look at the book, the Chartered is in small letters and the Vendor is in big letters. Why is like that? I'm a Chartered Secretary by profession, but I learned a lot from the streets than from school. Because when I came to Harare, I'm from Watomba, and Watomba is 40 kilometers from Harare. So we are from Manika land, Tirana, Wasu, Tisa Naacho, kana uzgwende kwa Tsambeba, uzgwende kuskuruba. That's what we say in Chimanyika. So in 2005, I was at Nyamingura Secondary I was doing temporary teaching there after finishing my A-levels. Why I had to go for temporary teaching was because my brother and I were only left with one trousers for us to go to the growth point. So it means we couldn't go to the growth point, both of us. We had to wait for the other one to go in the morning and the other one afternoon. So I said, let me apply for temporary teaching. It wasn't easy applying for a temporary teaching position since I didn't have an A-level certificate by then. So I still remember when the DEO said he needs 5 people at Nyamingura, and the last guy had 2 E's in accounts and mathematics. So I just challenged, being a vendor with confidence, I just said, I think I can beat that guy. Then everyone laughed, but the DEO just said, let us hear what he's going to say. Then he said, young man, what do you have in maths? Then I said, I don't have an A-level certificate. Then he said, what about O-level? O-level, I said I had an A. Then A in accounts and A in maths. That's how I managed to get that job. And I stayed there for 8 months. When I was working at that in Nyamingura, that's when I read a newspaper which was saying from a T-boy to the RBZ. So it was a story of none other than Dr. Gono. So when I was reading that story, that's when I noticed that Dr. Gono started with doing CIS. And I said, I think I would do CIS as well. Because why? I was used to people going to university. It was my first time hearing that you can be someone without getting into the university. So I said, coming from a poor background, I think it's better for me to just start with CIS. And I started that CIS. That was around 2005. 8 months at that school, I said, let me come to Harare. And I still remember asking my mother, I need to get into Harare. And she said, but we don't have a close relative in Harare. Then I said, make a plan. So she made a plan, and I ended up staying with my cousins. You know, you have to really explain. I get what I mean? Then I started staying in Glenview 1. When I was staying in Glenview 1 with 5 boys, staying there, it wasn't easy because we were just 5 boys. It was very tough getting into Harare. First week, I got a job at Edgar's. So at Edgar's, it was a job at their regional office, which is called the Distribution Center along Simon Mazorodze. So there, I learned quite a lot. Because working for other people, it's also good. It's one of the lessons which I want you guys to know. It's not everyone who can be an entrepreneur. Sometimes you're intrapreneur. You don't have the grace to start. Sometimes just to follow. It's not a problem. You're getting it. When you start yourself, it's a disaster. So when I was working at Edgar's, it was tough to the extent that for you to rest, you have to get into the toilet, just sit on a toilet, sit doing nothing for 5 minutes, and people start calling you, Jerry, where are you? Come back to work. That's what was happening. Another 8 months at Edgar's. In June 2006, I got my contract expired at Edgar's. And at the same time, my cousins also said, ha Jero wakura, watenga chi mattress, and watenga chi stove where gwina. To the extent that we couldn't cook without wearing shoes. And I had to wear, those shoes which are called BMW, it means Muriwanga. Those are the ones which, even when they were brown or blue, they were called yellow pushes. That was the time. So then they said, Jero Kura, you now have a mattress, you now have a 2-plate stove. Start staying on your own. So same week, I lost my job. Same week, I lost where I was staying. Then what did I do? I just said, okay, fine. Let me find a way. Because there were only 2 options, going back to Atomba or struggling in Harare. So at Edgar's, they gave me my last paycheck, which was 9.5 million Zimbabwean dollars. The man didn't have value to the extent that Zig is more valuable than those dollars because they were bearer checks. So I was given those bearer checks to just give you a clue, because I can see a lot of Ama 2000 in here. A loaf of bread was 86,000. To get an airtime card, it was 500,000. And for my rental, when I was given the 9.5 million, my rent was 4 million. And I started staying with Ambuya Tendai from Jehovah's Witness. The reason why there was a vacancy there, it was a time when you're congratulated to get just where to lease. And people would congratulate you, because why? The Zimbri parks were still starting. Damafos was not even there. Your Mentokeros were not there. Your Mabazuas were not there. So houses were scarce. So the only reason why there was a vacancy, because Ambuya Tendai in Zawagarike now. She gave me 5 rules. Number 1, she said, you are supposed to water my garden. And water was scarce in Glenview 1, so I was supposed to water that garden around 2 a.m. But when I would come back, Manere, and I was saying, Ambuya, may I kindly have vegetables right in the chembira, tenga? That was the first rule. The second rule, every 6:30, we're supposed to have Bible study. Then the third rule, it helped me a lot, especially in Harare. That's why I had to even also write a book called Souls Equals to Mjolo. Because she said, you're coming from the rural areas. I know Harare girls, so I won't entertain any girls at my house. Then another rule which I was given, I was supposed to clean the toilet and clean her dining, so I could do that before I leave. So all these were rules which were given to me when I was staying in Glenview 1. So the other 4 million, I said, let me start a business. That's how I got into vending. Because the other 4 million, I said, but I was looking for a lucrative vending. When you're coming from a boy's high, I was at Maristi Brothers. Yeah, you have a bit of some A's, no C's, 11 subjects, and you're a teacher, and you're now a vendor. So I said, no bananas, no tomatoes. What should I start with? I started with airtime. Because why airtime? Only 10% of the population had phones. So why airtime? It was a better vending. So when I started that, I still remember ordering 8 cards only. And what could happen after almost 2-3 days, when I started my vending in Glenview 4 at Corner Patrand and Willowville, if you see a big stone there, that's where I used to stay. So the good part about my story, 2 of the ladies I used to vend with, they are still vendors. So you can ask them, but don't say Jerry, say Mo, because that was my name by that time. Because my name is Jerry Mo, so I used to use the second name. So when I was doing that, 8 of my cards, that's how I started. And when I started vending now, things were tough. I would go to Budiro 5. I still remember going to Teacher Garika, because I was now used to those places. Because when I was working at Edgar's, I would walk from Glenview 1 to Mfakose, that's Budiro 5, to board the Freedom train. Those who still remember, it was 5,000. Sometimes it was 5 million bearer checks, and Dr. Gono scraped some zeros, and it became 5,000. But it was almost 6 kilometers going to what? To Mfakose, to the extent that people at work would laugh at me. They just say, Comrade, you're already almost 3 quarters. Hey, why can't we just walk from Glenview 1 to what? To town. So this is where I want you to start learning now. Because when I starting the vending journey, initially I was shy. And most of us were shy. That's why you notice that most of us, we want to start with big businesses. You want to sell cars, you want to be involved into real estate, but you don't want to start small. And the other problem which I've noticed is, because being a consultant, not only consulting in Zimbabwe, I've got offices as well, because I run a company called M&J as their chief servant. We are almost 70 of us at M&J, and I've got offices not only in Zimbabwe, but I also have offices in Zambia, where I'm supposed to be, day after tomorrow, I'm supposed to be in Zambia, working there, and I'm also opening offices in Malawi. The biggest problem which I've noticed with entrepreneurs, we don't want to start with pushing a scorecard. We want to start with having with those lucrative titles. That's why you notice that even our career guidance is a bit screwed. Most of us wanted to be accountants, doctors, engineers. No one wants to be a content creator. But you know that a content creator can pay 40 accountants. If you are really good, no one wants to be, and no one will even say, I want to be an entrepreneur as well. Because most of us want to be doctors, want to be engineers. So starting with airtime, I learned a lot, because on airtime was only 8 cents profit. Even I think now it's still 8 to 9 cents profit. So it wasn't a profitable business. But after about 4 weeks, I said, let me drop airtime. Now gloves are off, because I was now used to the streets. I said, okay, these ladies are selling, they were selling cigarettes. Sorry, I'm in church, but I sold cigarettes. I'm sorry, I don't smoke, but I sold what? Cigarettes. When I noticed that the ladies were coming to work at around 7 a.m. and I would be at my vending store at around 5 a.m. So people started asking for cigarettes, started asking for mints, started asking for bananas, and I didn't have, I only had airtime. I said, no, let me discard all the airtime and start order. I got cigarettes, I got donuts, and I started getting real profit. After 3 months, I had a payphone. You know those payphones? We used to, those who didn't know them, they were big phones. When we started with these phones, they were Motorola's. These were very big phones. But those phones had powerful network signals, to the extent that the guys were using 1100s and 3310s, they would struggle with network, but the Motorola was still what? Working. So I opened a payphone and I got my first battery from a guy who is still a vendor and took to that. I saw him as a vendor. I said, I think it's about 10 years in vending. Right now, I think he's now 25 years doing same thing, selling oil, old batteries. That's what he does. So I would borrow a battery, operate my payphone, and I started making a little bit of money. So you don't need money to start a business. And when I was a vendor, my first employee was a friend of my brother. So I said, this is my brother, so I can bring him to town, I can start working with him. But boom, when I would leave him, go operating a payphone, he would eat a dozen of eggs. Because he would say, we've got money. To the extent that, you know, when you're running a business with relatives, you become emotional. So, like what he was saying, if you can, please avoid hiring relatives. And hiring what? Friends. Because I tell you, the day I learned how to fire that guy, and I fired him, up to now, we don't see eye to eye. So when you fire a stranger, they won't hold that grudge for a long period of time. But when you fire a brother, when you fire a sister, let me tell you, the whole life, they'll hate you. Because business has got a lot of emotions. Let me tell you, even right now, if you want to hire your wife in your business, you must be also able to fire them. Don't hire someone you cannot what? Fire. So if you're hiring your sister, when push comes to shove, you're supposed to be able to what? To fire them without using emotions, but using logic. I fired a lot of good people in my career, including my blood brother and my sister. So what I'm saying is true. To the extent that when you start firing people who are close to you, they will be now saying, do I know how famba akaromba? Pane chirumu chisingavhurwe pabasa pake chine nyoka. Are you getting it? Those are the people who are going to say, I think it's linked to Musangano. I don't know Musangano Upi. Don't get me wrong. I didn't say anything. So they'll say a lot because what they want is that revenge. So don't run business using emotions. If you know that this person, you cannot fire him, is a friend, don't do business with a friend. So 2009, as a vendor. So as a vendor, also that's when I learned sales to the extent that even yesterday I spent my whole day training one of the big companies in Zimbabwe, sales. So I didn't go to school to do sales. I started learning sales as a vendor. And if you want to run any business, the first trait which you want is to sell. If you can't sell, never think of being an entrepreneur, because selling is critical. Unfortunately, selling is not even part of our syllabus. If I had power, I was going to put sales even in ECD, because in your whole life, you need to sell, including the interview. When you go for a job, you have to sell. The MC, I think he sold for him to be what? To be an MC. If you're married right now, you sold. If you're not married and you want to be married, you probably suck in sales. So selling is critical. So that's when I learned that you have to relate to people. You need to know the power of a negotiation. Let me tell you right now, there is no one who can negotiate with the Chinese in Africa. Why? Because Chinese are being taught to negotiate. They're being taught sales skills at a tender age. That's why you notice that most of the time when you negotiate with Chinese, they always get the price they want, not what you want. But us, we don't know, to the extent that even our leaders are being dribbled on the global stage. Because why? They are good salespeople. And number two, you have to also learn how to market. Some of you want to be business people. Some of you are even also working for other businesses. That's why I said it's very important when you're working for someone, it's not a crime. When you also start a business, it's not also a crime. But if you check what's on your status right now, just check your status. Just check what's on your profile. That's what you're selling. So if you've got a boyfriend on your status, that's what you're selling. If your husband is on your status, that's what you're selling. Very soon they'll purchase him. Don't cry foul. So on your profile, put what you're selling. If you put your kids, Tim Rachel Noroya foot. Are we getting it? So what's safe? Put the product which you are selling. Zikanwa isa sisema put sise kuruka msoro sise. I think there's legal bear, there's news bear. Why can't we just be a matemba bear? Are you getting it? That's how marketing applies. Personally, even to most of the days now, I can even turn down some engagements to say, this one I don't want. This one, why? Because of the power of social media. The ground has never been level like it is today. Remember, 20 years ago, people needed billboards to be known. People needed $75 per 30 seconds on radio for them to be known. Right now, you just open your page, start posting. And post, don't post your life. Because most of us have got a problem. When you just go to the airport, you're now posting departure. I was talking to a Nigerian, one of my clients, and I was asking him, why did you leave Zimbabwe and decided to go to UK? He said, the problem with Zimbabweans, when any sector is entered by a Zimbabwean, it's a disaster. He said, in around 2004, 2005, they would get TVs, phones from Dubai. But no one knew, to the extent that most of the people thought that phones and TVs were coming from Botswana. Then they made a lot of money until a Zimbabwean joined the group. When a Zimbabwean joined the group, the first thing they did, tomorrow I can't wait, on their status. Then once they're at the airport, they post departure, Dubai, here we come. Then when they're now in the aeroplane, I've also testified this. people have got a tendency of sitting in the business class whilst they are now departing the plane, and people take pictures. So that people at home feel a lot of pressure that you're in business class. Boom, they are now in Dubai. Dubai, we are here. You see? Then, when you're now coming, after 3 days, I've got your iPhones here. So everyone is going to know where you're getting your product. So he said, that's why we left Zimbabwe, because why? MaZimbabweans are ana. Bapu rakadi, rakawandisa, ukangopinda musekta mako chete zvakuzikanwa nemunhu wese. That's why you notice even space. There are now a lot of shops, but when Nigerians started, no one knew. Not because Zimbabwe didn't have capital, but because we didn't have the knowledge. Now, the space is level. Social media is there, AI is there. Because right now, we're now living in the information age. In the information age, every information that you want is there, but it depends with what you're searching. Instead of searching on how to start a business, how to get promoted, you're busy searching, how can I maintain my relationship? How can I juggle 2 boyfriends? Are you getting it? So we are living in this kind of age. So these are the skills which I learned whilst I was a vendor. In 2009, I was so fortunate that the same customer I was serving was the one who asked me, Jerry, don't you have, what did you do in school? Then I said, no, I'm even doing CIS. Then he said, you're doing CIS because my whole CIS, I only attended class once. Because not because I was bright, but because I didn't have the money. So I would only go I want to go to write exams only. That's what I would do. So she asked me, and I gave her my CV, and she said, wow, this is the person you are looking for. You can come for an interview. I went for an interview. Boom, I was now a bookkeeper at AFA, Fire Engineers, which is ABBA for Holdings. That's where I was working 1 year after. I was now a group bookkeeper. And after that, I went to work for SPAR, Kamfinsa. After working for SPAR, Kamfinsa, that's when I joined a company called ZPH. And in 2014, I was fired. When I was fired, that's when I started a company called M&J alone, doing just business registration. And right now, the company has grown a bit. Because we're now also advising even big customers in Southern Africa. Right now, I think I said it before, we are now almost 70 of us building M&J. So it has been a journey. So I'm going to share lessons which I learned both in my career and also in my vending journey. Because that's why I first highlighted that vending is so critical to me, because to me it's an unfair advantage. Because when you don't know how to sell, I can go out and sell. Let me tell you, if you come to my workplace, if you want to get a job, number 1, bring me a book. Number 2, just say you're a vendor. It's enough. Because when a vendor, I know that you're already qualified. You can work under pressure. Because vendors, they can sell even when there are problems. But now we're now getting people who are coming from university. They think they are going to start with air cons. They think they are going to start with a car, but they would say you're supposed to clean. So, what I want to say to you guys, the first lesson which I told you is how to sell. Then the second lesson is marketing. The third lesson is how to run a team. Because most of us, I always ask this question, and I'm asking supervisors, have you ever fired anyone? And people say no. Then I know that you cannot be a leader. Because a leader has to know how to hire and they have to know how to fire. If you ask entrepreneurs who are in here, they've got someone they know that they no longer need in the company. And someone is asked, what's the right time to fire someone? Immediately when it crosses your head. That's the right time. Because why? Most of us, we've got that person. We know very well that they're not working, they're not producing results, but you're shy. You're like, how should I get rid of this person? How should I, probably, let me pray about it. In business and prayer are two different things. Here at church we pray, at business we act. If you don't act decisively, you all die. So you need to master that art. If you can't fire someone, it's going to be very difficult for you to what? To run a business. Because you need to make those kind of tough decisions. Then also, when you're running a business, what I learned when I was at M&J, I also learned that you're supposed to be always innovative. When I'm saying innovation is to say, you don't need to be doing the same thing which you're doing in 2010. Because if you look at it, the world is moving. Technology is overtaking. One of my clients used to be the biggest in terms of supplying what we call floor polish, kanauti cobra. And so they're very good, and they were once upon a time it was the biggest company. But you know that events overtook them. Trials came and they denied. Because I even told them, my brother, we can no longer sell this product in the next 5 years. And he said, don't you get this? I want to university. So what are you saying? But I'm telling him, no, this product is going to be obsolete. So in this era, you need to learn technology. You need to learn to be innovative. Sometimes it's not about reinventing the wheel. It's about just copying a skill, which is being done in Dubai, which is being done in China. Bring it home. You just need to copy. You copy, then you paste. Then that's already a business. You always have to innovate. So a business which doesn't innovate will crumble. Like even if you look, those who are in the security sector, yes, physical security guards used to be on demand. But there are a lot of problems associated with running personnel in security guards. But what are people now doing? They are now demanding alarms. They are now demanding response. They are now demanding things are changing. Some are now even doing security just using drones. But you'll be now saying, no, my God, one day I should get 3,000. You'll be killing yourself. So innovation is so key. That's what I learned in M&J. We start off with registering companies, but right now we're now the biggest supplier of an ERP. It's an enterprise resource planning software called Odoo in Africa. And so we've overtaken companies in South Africa, in Egypt. I think the second company is coming from Egypt, because we are bringing solutions. Because what we said, we want to create timeless businesses which are going to move from generations to generations. I think my brother was talking about a business which was started by a black man. But if you notice, like what he rightfully said, black people don't want to build systems. Systems are in their heads. So that's why you notice, I think most of the people who are running businesses were being called mseama. And I don't know what the morphos and the showers really. Anachira nana morph. Amenoti mauraira makaita ma business mchangotanga ngare mhandoi. Wezi munhu esangotadza seti ndimseama. Someone is trying to run business with black skin, they're just mseama. And Mseangwa is Mofu, by the way. In Mseangwa, the sisters are called Chiras. So you guys, they really did. I think Mr. Matamana was he also a Mofu? Okay, anyway. But what I'm saying is, that's wrong. Or people are thinking that, I think this person was using juju to run the business. It's because he was the business. So if you're running a business right now, you're the only one who knows the passwords of the bank. You are the only one who knows where you get your buses from. You are the only one who knows how to pay fuel. You are the only one who knows even hiring. What will happen when you die? People just wait because they're waiting for commands. They are not dealing with systems. So if you want to run a successful business, let systems run the business and the people come to run the systems. When I'm talking about systems, I'm not talking about softwares. Because people might think I'm talking about softwares. I'm saying if, like even here at this event, I think people are starting with registering. After registering, probably are going to be given a tag. That's already what? A system. But it's a problem now when that system is only known by Mr. Nkosana. That system has to be documented so that if Mr. Nkosana leaves the company or if he dies today, people can still follow. That's what I'm calling a system. Even at your house, you can have a system. We've got married people here, especially married gentlemen. If you notice, you struggle a lot when your wife leaves. You struggle with cooking. Because why? It doesn't mean that you can't cook. But when you get into that kitchen now, you don't even know where the knives are. You don't even know where millionaire is. You can't even operate the stove. Because you haven't operated the stove for 4 years. So, but imagine if your wife was going to document everything. Label. You label where sugar is. You label where salt is. You label where knives are. You document everything. Daddy, for your favorite meal, this is how we cook it. We add this certain grams of salt. That's how we're going to be doing cooking or eating. That's a system. Everything has to be documented. Unfortunately, most of the black-owned businesses, especially here in Zimbabwe, they are being run using heads. That's why everyone is busy looking for that genius. If you ask every entrepreneur who is in here, they are like, say duplicate. Are you getting it? They are looking for a unicorn. How can I get that best accountant? How can I get that best marketer? How can I get that best IT person? I tell you, that's a waste of time. Start, if you get a good person, make sure that everything which is in their head is documented. If it's a good developer, they should show you and write down how they are developing that nice code. And when another average developer comes, they can easily follow what is already documented. That's what I'm calling a system. So we need to start building systems. If you want to see that even at country level, we don't have a system, look at city council. Pipe ya besta. Chau ya church ya chikatapila chia. Chinongoshuka choda isonzwa charowa inge pipe yesuwa. But do you know that white people left us maps of the whole city? Do you know that there are maps of everything? But why? Takaita say, takazupisa zumabeba zunabasa isu. If you notice everything which comes from China, from the white men, it comes with a manual. Kanada wana chincha gadzirwa na mseyamwa achina manual. That's why you notice that at your house you always call that same electrician because he's the only one who knows. Kuti breaker iri ndere bo, breaker iri ndere chi, because they are not labeled. If you want to test kutodzima kuti my lights are and makati. That's what I'm just calling a system. It's not a software. Now when you have a system, you can now put it in in a software. So a software is just going to make it easy. If you're authorizing transactions, now you are now authorizing them using a phone. You are now just pressing a button. That's now a software. Helping you on a system already. I have done softwares a lot. So I know that sometimes if you go to put a software where there are no systems, you struggle. So my friend was even telling me, he works for one of the biggest companies, and he said, do you know that with documents, a lot of documents, with a cabin with a lot of documents, but do you know my boss just said, destroy all those documents. And these documents were for, because he works for a broadcasting company, so that all the cables were labeled. Then they bought a $400,000 machine. It was destroyed because someone plugged a high voltage cable was put on that machine and it was done. But that information was there in the book which they were left with by the white guys. So unfortunately, it might seem as if I'm being racist, but our guys in a whiter skin are better than us in terms of systems. And also what I want to say to you guys, when you're running business, it's also very important to avoid early gratification. Kungowanaka 10,000 wautoda Benz. Benz here futi, zingori mota dzembero, are you getting it? Mota dzembero chi, second hand, right? So you have to just stay grounded. When you start running your business, stay grounded. Go to your mentors and ask, how have you done this? What should I do? What should I buy? In Zimbabwe, we like cars. Wow. It's a measure of success. But let me tell you, If you buy a new car, it's 30% value is destroyed immediately when you leave a car at the castle. So I'm saying we need to delay that early gratification. And also what causes that? It's because most of the entrepreneurs, we don't split personal money and business money. So hence, when you make 50,000 worth of sales and 50,000 is in your safe, it's your money. To the extent that even if your relatives say, I want $100, you cannot deny them. Why? Because you're saying, $50 when I've got 50,000. I can't. You give them. So what should you do now? When you're running even a small business, be on a salary. Pay yourself a salary, even if you're working, if it's your business. Don't touch company money. If you're touching company money, if you mix the two, it's either two things are going to happen. You either steal from the business or the business will steal from you. If you want to see that the business is stealing from you, you start speaking this kind of language. Urim boardroom, my managers are here. Muzoti company inini apana chandrukuwana ndokona ngoivhara inini ndikaivhara ndimi muri kubenefita. It shows that you are not enjoying your company because you are not paying yourself. And let me tell you also, pay yourself first. Don't pay yourself last. Because remember, you're the first employee in your company. So you need to be taken care of. Because why? You are the one who's going to produce ideas. You are the visionary. Pay yourself first. What I'm telling you, when I was running M&J, until 2020, I used to sacrifice for the company. I used to say, guys, you pay me when there's money. And let me tell you, I used to be very angry at my managers because they would enjoy the company better than I was doing. Until when I started paying myself first, wow, I like going to work. I like going to work because why? I now know that yes, my kids are taken care of, my wife is happy, my family is happy, my mother is taken care of. That's how what is going to make you. And it's now, and even the business started growing even faster. Because why? I was now committed to the business. That's why you notice that some of us, we even start side hustles. When you've got a business, we are now destroying the main business, starting another business. Because why? This business is not giving you money. And another trick which I also want us to learn, please don't over-expand. What I noticed is, when you're an entrepreneur, you always see opportunities. But it doesn't mean that every opportunity which comes by, it's yours. So you see someone, and also people like giving testimonies when they're in church now. As you see me, I'm Jerry. I'm into construction, I'm into farming, I'm into IT. Then the whole church says, wow, do my entrepreneur. Comrade, so even right now what I want to tell you, the issue of opening too many branches, I've worked with a lot of entrepreneurs in this city. Most of them, out of 13 branches, only 2 are making profit. But why you cannot go to your church and say, I'm running 2 branches? As unakadatika. Also go to 18 my branch. Tiriko, kumvurwi tiriko, kugokwe tiriko. But all these are headaches. So that's why every business requires something which is called strategy. When to expand. Because you can see the market is there. But sometimes the market can be there whilst you don't have the human resources to cover that market. If you want to see that you are not yet at the stage where you can expand, after building systems and testing them in Harare, they are working. I now have a system to put in what? In Bulawayo, and I now have the human resources to put in Bulawayo because I won't be at all these places at the same time. So don't over-expand. Expand gradually. I noticed that there are young entrepreneurs who are already saying, I'm running 5 companies. But of those 5 companies, 4 are making serious losses and they're destroying the main one. So that's another biggest mistake, which I also learned on my own. Because at one point in 2024 in Zambia, there was serious shortage of electricity in Lusaka. So when I went there, it was dark. And I said to one of my PAs by then, I no longer have a PA now, because why? AI is my PA. And AI mudure. AI no ubasa. And I went in my mood. Ugaiti type 2 minutes, 30 seconds nenga pizza. I score futi chirungu. So why should I need a PA? I use my what? My AI. So my PA said, I think there's an opportunity. Because the offices we were renting, for 20 years, there was a solar company. So when there was this outbreak, everyone started coming to our offices looking for solar. Then I said, chimukana gaichi. Tatobva consultants pa, tatwaga kamari. Ka 50,000 to inject in solar. Let me tell you, people started coming. Because you are entering in a field which you are not used to. So remember, I'm used to consultants, I'm used to service, I'm now in solar. Ndakuda kuziva kuti kana chiti volts amps, what are we saying? 5 kV, what's that? Then I partnered with the guy, we started our solar company. The demand was very high. But after about 4 weeks, we were no longer sleeping. Mazoisa solar yenyu panapa, firiji yacho yadona. Madaiso chakati chaita. Now the consultants' business was slowly dying because everyone was now focusing on what? Solar. And I used to see other people making money in solar, and I thought that, solar in Mari. But when I got into solar, I noticed that, I think they are making money through other means. You see, then fortunately, we had to realize that mistake. We closed that company in less than 4 months. And after closing that company, let me tell you, our consultants company started to rise. Because why? Attention was now divided. Even my own attention was what? Was divided. So I'm just encouraging you to say, stay where you are, focus. And if you focus on what you're doing, whatever, even if you notice, I know of guys, Varipana Mnasamora. Guys, Varipana Samora. I know those guys, they wear suits, my hairdressers, but you know that they charge $10 per head. And when you call them to your house, they charge $50 to $100. And those guys, they can make more than $3,000 a month. Because why? And if you ask them, they'll say, I've been doing this job for the last 12 years. And now I have other 12 people who are working for me. So what I'm saying to you, focus is everything. And what I want to say to you lastly is, you want to be focused, number one, and you also want consistency. You're supposed to show up every day. If you're also running a company, it doesn't mean that you have to show up at 9 a.m. I've noticed that entrepreneurs have got a tendency of coming at 9, and they start wondering why their employees are always late. It's because they always follow the leader. So if you start your company, personally, I start at 6:30 every day. I'm there. So who are you to come after 8 when I've started it at 6:30? So you show them, you don't tell them. So you need to be disciplined. And also the power of association. The people you are hanging around with. I always want to hang around with people, but the boss. Some of you, I know that you're church people. But I know that you also buy even mascati. You are at the wrong place. So go to a place where people are sending you to buy drinks. Go to a place where people are saying you are the poorest in that what? Club. So that's what I always do. When I see kuti ndakunzim ndara panapa, ndoenda next. No joining a group. So you want power of association, the people you hang around. Sometimes when you think that you now have 4 houses, there's a guy who is telling you that I've got 50. Just last week I met a guy who was saying, he was asking his PA, Nai John, tane zimbanga ni mborodio. I said, 55 here, mkoma. Your boss, 71. So those are the people I want to hang around with, to the extent that I feel like I've done nothing. But some of us, we like the Binga syndrome now. It's $5 of one jara, achaka ipaichi. So I want to tell you guys, stay humble. If you pray, you guys are prayerful, but prayer and business, they're two different things. You can suffer even speaking in tongues. You can suffer whilst you're holy. Because why? I wrote, even if you check my Facebook right now, I just said, Zimra, don't worry about Saturday. I know that you are worried about Saturday. I said Zimra opens it from Monday to Saturday. But you are running a small company which is failing to pay Zimra. You open Monday to Friday. And you even open 8 o'clock to 4:30. And you are running a boutique. Whilst your customers are still are busy going to work, passing through your boutique, you are closed. Because you open at 8, whilst they've also started their jobs. And at 4:30, you close your boutique. Whilst they are now coming back. So when are you going to make money? If you look at other countries, Dubai, China, they are working 24 hours for them to be successful. Successful is painful. No matter how much you're going to pray, no matter how many mountains you're going to climb, if you don't put the work, it doesn't work. You can even hate your elders, you can hate your pastors, but you need to put in the energy, you need to put in the work. If your prayer is even an added advantage, because you know God, if you put in the work, magic will happen. But business doesn't respect religion. That's why you notice that a guy who you think is a sinner is more successful than you. Because God has given us 5 senses. We are supposed to use those 5 senses. If we don't use them, we'll die poor. Ziri say uri holy zako uchikumbira ndashamisika wana anokumbira nechirungu. Munhu anokumbira nechirungu. Apa akabata iPhone 17 abari mbasi. Achikumbira nechirungu. What we just want is to work hard and push. Thank you so much. May God bless you. It's not what I'm driving, it's what is driving you. Thank you so much.